What is going on? Welcome to the DeFi Degen podcast number 4. I'm here with Ian Devendorf.
What's up, guys?
What is going on? We got new software we're running on, and we got our suits. We're looking good.
That's right. Look good,
and
feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic Monday morning. Excited to share you our DeFi Degen newsletter and kind of walk through it. Exciting ass week in crypto this week. We got some news. Ethereum's what, 4,800 right now, 4,750, right?
Yep. What is Bitcoin at? Like 65K?
Well, let's check it out. Let's see here. I'm going to have to get good at multitasking here. So we can actually check out the market real quick, see what's going on. 47.
Ooh.
4750, dude. That's freaking nuts. Ethereum's pumping. Everything's pumping. Looking pretty good in the markets this morning. Nothing to complain about.
Time has pumped quite a bit. I think it's at 9,500 right now.
Which one?
We talked about it around 8,000.
What's that one?
Time. It's at number 88.
Oh, yeah, Wonderland. Wonderland's freaking nuts, man.
It's sick.
But we'll see what happens. Obviously, earning 70,000% while the price appreciating is pretty dope. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the newsletter. Super pumped about this one. Feeling good about it. So today we're going to be talking about inflation and the macro backdrop and the effects of the inflation. Polkadot parachains coming up 11 November, Polkadot parachain auction and how to participate. On bad news for the U.S. citizens. For the most part, we might be able to get by some of those things, but we'll talk about it. My crypto endgame, and then 2 projects that will have a $1 billion market cap by Christmas. Speculating, but we have an investment thesis we presented to you. We'll see what you think about it. So let's go ahead and go into news this week. Today, did you end up going to NFT NYC? I know you said you might.
I actually didn't end up going. There were a lot of side events that I was available to go to, but just didn't make it out.
Damn, man.
But yeah, so, it was definitely all over Twitter.
Was it? Did you see anything happening in real life over there in NYC? Did you see anything walking the streets? Nothing.
I didn't really see anything that I could tell like people were in crypto or anything. But
right, I did hear there was like an NFT project in a vending machine. You bought an NFT QR code in a vending machine, and then you pretty much purchased it through a crypto vending machine. Like they had vending machines around New York
That's
City.
Actually sick. They had that at the event.
I think they were just on the roadside in NYC.
Damn.
But hey, it is what it is. Let's go on to some takeaways from the NFT NYC event. Personally, I think the metaverse is most certainly the future, but we may just be too early. This is my personal viewpoint. Metaverse is most certainly the future, but blockchain, all these great utilities for blockchain, yes, they're great and they're great ideas, but will they work out in this time and date? I don't know. I think we might be too early for some of these projects, and that's exactly what Jimmy Wales, the co-founder of Wikipedia, had a talk at the conference, and that's what he was saying. He was around during the .com era, and there was a lot of great ideas, but they just were before their time. So that's basically what he was saying. They were just before their time, and this is what's going to happen with a lot of these metaverse projects as well. The great ideas just before their time.
I totally agree with that. I think for the metaverse to actually be a thing, not only does AR and VR have to progress, but also we have to have a ton of scalability. Even the video games, like everyone knows Call of Duty, that requires such a crazy amount of scalability that a lot of blockchains aren't able to support yet. So metaverse is definitely the future, just probably in the medium to long term.
Right. So what do you think about, what's your opinion on VR, AR? Who's going to win, augmented or virtual? That's freaking tough.
Man, I don't know. They already have crazy, they have like these warehouses where you can go and they create this whole experience where you have these VR goggles on and they have like wind, they have fire, and you're like fighting off zombies. And apparently it makes it like super real. There is definitely more of an exclusive like
Right.
thing, but I don't know, man. It's definitely going to be exciting to keep track of, but
To
it's
keep an eye
crazy.
on for sure. I definitely I'm personally a proponent of augmented because I don't think a lot of people are going to want to like completely immerse themselves into the metaverse. Maybe they will, but that's just not my taste. I think
Yeah.
augmented for the win, but we'll see. Ethereum is king, Solana is queen. Ethereum, I mean, blew out the. I mean, they're just doing way more volume in NFTs all around. OpenSea is the premier marketplace for NFTs. At the end of the day, having something digital verified by like a decentralized server such as Ethereum, it's like it holds some credibility by what blockchain the NFT is verified. And Ethereum is the premier blockchain to have any of your NFTs verified on, basically. And Solana is second. I mean, that's what's going to happen
Yeah.
when, yeah, when
It's
Twitter,
really not even close, man. Like
it really isn't.
I've it's funny. I've dabbled in Solana NFTs a little bit,
There we
and
go.
I've recently gotten into Ethereum NFTs, and even just the art, like all the good artists are going to Ethereum, and there's just this stigma in the space that Solana NFTs are sketchy.
For
Um,
sure. A lot of
so
copy and
it's hard
paste.
to get over that.
A lot of copy and paste. Wherever gas fees are low, this is kind of what I noted here. So gas fees act as a barrier to entry for scams on Ethereum, which is kind of ironic because everybody hates the gas fees. But scammers will stay away from Ethereum specifically for that reason for the most part. And they will just go on a side chain like Binance Smart Chain, Solana. Phantom has a NFT network or NFT marketplace. So just be careful, obviously, on the side chains. But next is the NYC, New York City mayor. So your mayor over in NYC will take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin. Game theory added again. So game theory, what are your thoughts about just game theory in general and the crypto adoption?
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it play out with institutional investors, and it's just going to continue over time.
Right.
And yeah, basically the lesson here is that being early pays off well,
Right.
because I think it's reached the point where almost everyone realizes this is going to be an unstoppable thing. And
Bitcoin specifically, though, like right now, Bitcoin is seeing that adoption curve, but
yeah,
like DeFi has yet to see that adoption curve. NFTs have seen more of that adoption curve than DeFi because DeFi requires a level of interest and knowledge about finance in the first place, and a lot of people don't have that, right? So,
so
but
true. Yeah, that graph you showed last week with the Google searches just tells it all, bro. It makes DeFi look like it hasn't had any movement, which is crazy to think about.
right. So, game theory, person or organization adopts, fair market reacts positively, more instantly follow, right? Like so New York City mayor reacted to the Miami mayor saying he's going to take his paycheck in Bitcoin. New York City mayor is like, I got to do this too. So he's doing it as well. This is game theory. It goes for organizations. It goes for reserve currencies. It goes for sovereign wealth funds. It goes for institutions like putting it on their balance sheet. It goes for every level in society. And this will go for every revolutionary utility of blockchain, which is right now DeFi and NFTs primarily. We'll eventually see game theory explode the utility and the use of these different utilities on the blockchain. But next, 3 trillion crypto market cap. We reached it last night, late Sunday night. We reached $3 trillion market cap briefly. Are we there right now? Let's check it out. What are we at right now? Let's see. So we are currently at a $3 trillion market cap. We have never seen this before, obviously.
Which is like a couple rounds of stimulus.
That's true. They just passed the infrastructure bill. What, 1 point something trillion dollars or
Yeah,
yeah. So that's like
crazy.
we'll see what happens, man. It's I mean, our peers, I mean, you and I specifically, obviously, but I think our peers have such distrust in the United States dollar, and it's growing rapidly. It's like an infection, and trust is the foundation of finance. And when that shit spreads, uh, I mean, the U.S. dollar will. You kind of see the spiral coming.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely recommend reading the Bitcoin Standard. They do a great job of just putting Bitcoin in the context of the history of money, and you realize that when any currency, when they fuck with the supply and they increase the supply, it fails every single time throughout history. So
Right.
I'm not saying the U.S. dollar will necessarily fail in the near term or the medium term, but um, you
Well,
know, it's
fiat
definitely losing
currency,
value.
right? Fiat currency is an experiment. People don't realize the fiat currency system or model that we currently have is relatively new. When did we get off the gold standard? Do you know? 1970 something? Was it?
Yeah, yeah, I
With
think it was
Nixon?
1971.
1971 with
Might be wrong on
Nixon.
that.
So what's that? 50 years of a fiat currency experiment? That's not. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to fail like every other fiat currency, which is very sad, and it's going to be a very sad. It might be during our lifetimes, but we will see.
Yeah.
We actually have a piece on inflation, so we'll get to that. Anyways, so 3 trillion, awesome to see. I mean, we are the tip of the spear, and the fortune favors the bold. So be bold, and hopefully, fortune favors you. Yep. So marriage as a smart contract. Would you do this
A little bit too far for me.
for you?
It was a
So you would
funny
rather
tweet,
have the
but I
contract with
hope
the
they're
government?
not. I hope they're not too serious.
Yeah. So would you rather have the contract uh, with the government or the contract on the blockchain? That's really what it's asking.
All right, that now you're making a good point.
Yeah, there we go. I'm always converting people every day, all day. So, and then operate as a DAO. I mean, what if there was a protocol that like instantly did this and made it very simple, and then say you remember Claros or like
Yeah,
Aragon Court, where
ANJ
you can have a decentralized what is it? Uh,
jurisdiction protocol.
jurisdiction. That's what I was like. So they can basically decide who won the dispute. Oh, dispute protocol. So there's a dispute on the blockchain. Two juries.
Parties, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Parties dispute. A jury votes on who they agree with, and the winner gets the. So they pay for the court, or am I don't remember this exactly. Actually,
Yeah, I think
I gotta retard
basically
on that.
they pay for it, and then the jury is economically incentivized
Yeah,
to pick the right outcome.
yes, that's it for sure, for sure. All right, so talking about inflation. Inflation has a 13-year high of 5.4%, measured by the CPI, by the Feds. What do you think about this, Ian?
Yeah, I mean everyone knows that inflation is super high right now. It's actually probably much higher than 5% because the CPI only measures a basket of goods. But I mean, if you think about all the inflation out there, there's inflation in rental cars, there's inflation at restaurants, there's inflation at grocery stores. Basically, anything you can think of is going up in price, gas, everything. So CPI isn't really capturing all the inflation. I think it's probably much higher than 5%. And really, there's just kind of like two theories, right? So the first theory, and this is the one that the Fed keeps talking about. Jerome Powell keeps using this word transitory. I've heard it so many times over the past few months, and basically it means like, okay, this inflation, it's high, but it's temporary, and it's actually good because it's going to lead to more healthy inflation, and we're going to reach that 2% target that we want to keep long term. And basically, they're saying the inflation is so high because we recovered from the pandemic sooner than expected, and supply chains and labor markets they weren't ready for the increased demand, right? So you have bottlenecks in the supply chain, and you have a bunch of people that just aren't ready to come back to work yet. So that's kind of the first theory.
And that would make it transitory, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's that transitory inflation. And then the second theory, this is the one that I personally believe in much more. Um, it's really nice to think of it as being transitory, but there's a few things that kind of make me think it's going to last for like the next 12 to 18 months. And there's a
Quick
key
question,
thing.
Ian. I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
quick
go.
question for you. So transitory basically means that uh, that it's not the inflation's not due to the increase in money supply. Is that right or no?
So transitory just means more of we're in a transition period.
Okay,
So
I
it's
see.
not saying necessarily that it's caused by anything, but it's saying that it's just going to be temporary. We're transitioning into a new economic state. So
Got
we
it.
were in a pandemic. Now we're transitioning into more of a healthy economy.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Yep.
it's both the increase in money supply and the world just reopening in general.
Got it. Makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and so the second theory here, the key thing to understand is this thing called the wage price spiral. So a lot of people realize that inflation is going to be here for a while, right? And the labor market is also like everyone needs people to work. So workers have super high leverage right now, and they're seeing all these prices rise. They're seeing gas rise. They're seeing restaurant prices rise. And they're saying, okay, we need higher wages. So the employers have to give that to them. And the only thing that they can do to stay profitable is increase their prices. And so it just keeps ratcheting up and up. And the hardest thing to reverse in terms of inflation is wage. You can't just tell people that you're going to start paying them less. It's very hard to do.
Right.
And so generally, upward wage pressure is a sign that inflation's here to stay for another 6 to 9 months. And there's so much inflation that hasn't worked its way through their system. I don't want to keep talking about inflation, but
I mean,
um,
you see help wanted signs all over the place right now. It's
all
nuts.
over. Dude, I was in Whole Foods and there was a line of like a million posters saying
Help wanted, help
$17 an
wanted.
hour.
17. Well, NYC, yeah,
Yeah.
NYC 17. That's that's tough. That's tough. I don't know. Imagine, so I went to school in Bama. It was 7.25. Imagine getting paid $7 per hour. That's a bunch of my college. My roommate in college refed at the rec center, and he spent 10 to 15 hours refing, and he got paid like 100 to $120. That's
Damn.
freaking nuts, man. And that
Yeah.
was only a couple years ago. But I mean, people are done working for pennies.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So what does this mean for crypto?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's bullish for crypto. It's bullish for any asset, right? Because any asset can stay at the same value, and in dollar terms, it'll increase. And
Right.
so that's why I think actually the biggest risk right now is just holding dollars and not holding assets. And specifically, I'm risk on, man. I'm risk on for Q4
Risk
2021,
on. Risk
um,
on.
and
Send it.
potentially into 2022.
Gotta
We'll
always
see what
send it.
happens.
Yeah. I mean, another factor that goes into this is our age, man. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
hurt us to send it responsibly because we can bounce back. We can bounce back. Polka
100%.
auctions. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Polka auctions, how to participate. Polka dot auctions coming the 11th of November. Well, starting, I mean, they will continue for a while after that. And what is the polka dot parachain auction? Basically, these parachains, which are just blockchains, parachains are just blockchains that are trying to attach themselves to the polka dot relay chain. And if you can look at this image real quick, the inner circle is Polkadot's relay chain. All these little virus looking things are Polkadot parachains, and they are utilizing Polkadot's blockchain as a way to interoperate along with share security, right? And those are the biggest hurdles to jump for any independent blockchain. So that's kind of what and they're trying. There's only 100 slots, I think, 100 slots.
Yeah.
And they are trying to. They're Polkadot's auctioning off these slots, and parachains have to lock up Polkadot, the Polkadot's token, into a contract for 2 years to get a slot. They basically are renting that slot out, and the cost is opportunity cost of staking that polka dot. That's what the cost of renting a spot is the opportunity cost of the percent yield on staking that polka dot rather than putting it in that parachain slot, right? So that
Which is also super
Yep.
bullish for Polkadot because that just
Right.
takes a ton out of the supply.
Exactly. And I actually don't really know, like, even an estimate on how much that will take out of supply, depending on how competitive these parachain auction slots are. So we will see. Maybe that's also a reason not to participate, right? So because there will be such a high price appreciation with Polkadot, maybe you want to, and maybe when the 2 years time limit come up, there will be an inflow of Polkadot, right? So maybe that's another consideration. But how to participate, unfortunately, for U.S. citizens, it is difficult because of the SEC. And I mean, thanks to the SEC for protecting us once again. I love you, SEC. You're the best. You're saving me from making money. I love you. First way. There are some exchanges. If you're not in the U.S., it's relatively easy, guys. Right? But if you are in the U.S., there's an exchange called. Or if you aren't in the U.S., Kraken's hosting it. Kraken's a popular exchange. Use Kraken, or you can do it independently through their independent portals, right? Or Polkadot.js, right? So for U.S. citizens, there is a chance. Hotbit Exchange doesn't do KYC. Use at your own risk. Whatever. I've used Hotbit Exchange several times before. I mean, do what you got to do, right? Risk it for
Josh and I know this one well.
Yeah,
I think we actually bought our DOT on Hotbit, right? We were staking our DOT for a while.
I'm still staking.
Or not staking, but earning interest on it.
Yeah. So I think I was staking. I don't know what you had yours in, but yeah. So Hotbit they have Kusama parachains, so they probably and most likely will have Polkadot parachain auctions or crowd loans. Crowd loans, parachain auctions, same thing. So the second way to get involved is if you go to the Moonbeam auction page. Oh, sorry, your region and blah, 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 baloney, honey, right? So you're not authorized to participate in the Moonbeam crowd loan, which sucks because look at this. Look at the list. I read this last night. Look at the list and who we are on the list with. So the United States of America, the districts of U.S., People's Republic of China, Republic of Korea, North Korea, Cuba, Syria, Iran, Sudan, and Crimea. Great list to be on. I mean, just the top-notch countries in the world. I mean, guys, like North Korea, China, Cuba, Iran, and Syria, guys, this is nuts that we're on the same list with them. This is financial tyranny. It really is. It is. They're protecting us. Baloney. It's kind of it's frustrating because I want to take part in this stuff. I can evaluate my own risk. Let me do it. But anyways, if you want to participate, connect your baby to a VPN, and then you can go ahead and you got to get a Polkadot parachain, Polkadot Chrome extension wallet. Mine is right here, and there's a link for that as well. And then you fund it, and then you can contribute to the Polkadot crowd loan. Third way, send some Polkadot to your buddy that lives in a different country, right? A couple projects I'm looking at: Moonbeam, which is Moon River. Moon River's been popping.
Yep.
Moon River. So if I go ahead and look at Moon River 141, it's actually been going up significantly. Well, it was at like 300, and so it did pop and then drop. So, but yeah, so Moon River is the same thing, but on Kusama's or relay chain rather than Polkadot's relay chain, right? So that's the only difference. And Moon River has been extremely successful so far, but we will see what's up. And then we got Centrifuge, which is basically a DeFi protocol that allows stablecoin loans to real world businesses. And that's basically what it does. Currently 37 million DAI loaned out to real world businesses. It's been stagnating a little bit because of the lack or the choices that people in DeFi have. They're only earning maybe 15-20% on stable coins in the risky tranche. So why would you do that rather than and lock it up for a period of time and not go use other DeFi products, right? So they're stagnating a little bit. Something to consider.
Josh, do you know how the move from Kusama to Polkadot actually works? Like, so Moonriver, changing that into Moonbeam. Are you able to exchange your Moonriver for Moonbeam,
So
or?
a great question. But so basically, the Kusama ecosystem is going to continue, right? So there's going to be Moonriver along with Moonbeam. So
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's they're going to coexist, right? So
right.
do you believe? So some things to consider. Once again, Polkadot 2, if it goes up significantly. If you believe in the success, you lock it up for 2 years. Currently, it costs about $250 to participate for most of it, and then the U.S. citizens, it's a no-go for the most part. So let's see, crypto endgame. What is your crypto endgame, Ian?
I like this one.
Well,
Might be definitely involves a lot of passive income for me. Obviously, I think that's the goal of everyone. That's true financial independence, is just earning yield from a variety of different pools, staying diversified. 1.5 million stable coins lands you at like 150 to 300K. That
right,
sounds good
per
to
year
me.
and passive, depending
And then
on
you can do
APY.
projects on the side. Like, yeah.
Right. For sure. So yeah, that's basically my goal overall, is just 1.5 mil in stable coins without selling 80% of my long-term investment. So this is not me profiting, right? This is not me taking profits. This is not, maybe a small part of it, but for the majority of my long-term holds, my Bitcoin, my Ethereum, my chain linking, my Polkadot, right? I don't want to sell these. I'm earning yield. I'm going to sell my yield. I'm going to cash out and put that into stablecoin yields. I don't want to sell these assets. So that's not what I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to earn yield off of it. And if, say, Ethereum after proof of stake, ETH2 gets implemented, we were talking about this earlier, ETH very well could go to 100K next cycle, or 50, 60K probably next cycle, right? So just because how deflationary it is. So how to get started? Less than $100,000 portfolio. Probably speculate on airdrops. If you are between 500 to a mil, you can also speculate on airdrops, but it's just a function of time at some point. Maybe get some low cap gems in there if you believe in it. I'm a proponent of long-term holding and earning yield. I'm not a proponent of trading, but maybe you're good at it. But to each their own. Do what you want. Next, between 1 and 5 million at this point. Don't be content. Earn yield on your assets. Build that stablecoin pool, because if a bear market comes, who knows? We might just drop 60, 70%, and that's would be very sad to lose that off your assets and your portfolio value. It would be tough to hold through that for sure. Next is, and finally, is the two tokens that could reach a $1 billion market cap by 2022. Christmas 2022. Pretty close. We'll keep it. But so we got Kylan Network first, and that's a parachain. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. So this is a pretty highly anticipated project. If you're familiar with Chainlink, they provide a key solution to blockchains in general, right? It's the Oracle solution. Blockchains, by definition, are closed loop systems. So how are they going to access data in a decentralized way? Kylan is one of those solutions where they're going to have the ability to query and tap into data warehouses that these blockchains can access. And if you believe in the success of Polkadot, especially long term, then Kylan is going to be a key part of that.
Yeah.
And they have some really, Josh, if you go to the bottom, they have some really good partners, and they have a lot of capital behind them. So one of the things that is needed to win a parachain slot is a lot of capital, right? Because you need to lock up that dot. So they have that ability. And then also they've communicated that they're committed to finding the quickest route to a Polkadot auction slot. And they're doing that through Kusama. So they're actually I don't know how to pronounce it. It's called Pichiu, and
I
that's
haven't
their
heard of it.
Canary network that they're launching on Kusama, and that's just going to be their proof of concept,
Oh, okay.
basically.
I see. I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, Kusama is kind of the canary network of Polkadot, so that's kind of what Kylan's doing as well.
Exactly. And I think this is more of a long-term hold. I think at some point in 2022, they are going to win a auction slot on Polkadot. And Kylan's currently at like $100 million market cap. And I really don't see any project that wins a parachain auction slot on Polkadot below a $1 billion market cap.
You
So
think that?
100%
What's your timeline on that? What's your timeline on that?
on projects getting to $1 billion.
Yeah, like is it over the if you think they will all get to $1 billion this in 2022 or 2023 or what are you thinking on
I
that?
think pretty quickly because
You think pretty quickly?
the auction slots are, I mean, there's only 100 of them.
Right.
Everyone knows that DOT is going to be huge throughout the ecosystem. They have crazy scaling and security, so
Right.
I think it'll happen like pretty rapidly. Also because they have rounds basically, right? So there's only like I'm not sure how many projects are picked up and around, but if there's 5 projects that win slots, I mean, those are
Right.
going to explode. So,
Dang.
but
I
yeah, it's
remember
honestly not too bad of an entry point either.
right. It looks like it's reversing a little bit. I remember discussing this with somebody else back here about $1 or $2, and I hope that guy got out and rebought back lower. I remember looking at this project and I just thought about high inflation. Tokenomics is definitely one thing else you want to look at because
Yeah.
even if it gets to $1 billion market cap, the price could be lower based off the tokenomics, right?
Yeah.
So market cap does not mean price appreciation necessarily, not a one-to-one correlation, right? So just keep that in mind as well. Oops. So what's the next one is? Let's see here. Atari. You want to speak on Atari?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I'd be a little bit more cautious with this one, but everyone is probably familiar with the Atari name. Like Nintendo and Atari back in the 70s, they were like the two go-to places for game development. So they have the name. They haven't really done much in the last 20 years in terms of game development, but they've recently come out and they are getting into blockchain and
Is
kind of
this it right
similar to
here?
the metaverse. I think this project is their vision is maybe a little bit too large. So
Mm,
if they're actually able to capitalize on some of the items on their roadmap, I think this could be huge just because of the name that it has. But you can see there they want to be the token of reference for the interactive entertainment industry. So basically, all these projects building games on crypto,
oh,
they basically want to have the Atari token infused into those games. So like a lot of game developers might not be great in terms of economics and creating tokens and stuff like that. So Atari can provide them their token with the security and the scalability and everything like that. And then it'll also make all these games more interoperable because they're all working with the same token. So if they're able to actually
get partners, it sounds like, or get, yeah, you basically get partners.
yeah, partners is a huge thing. They have a pretty good community. I think 15K followers on Twitter just for their
15K.
token.
Is this attached to Atari at all? Like the actual Atari company, the OG?
Yeah, it is. It is. So if you go to the Atari website, like the regular website, it's I think it's a whole section of their website.
Atari, just like
Yeah, just type in
.com.
Atari. It should pop up. There you go.
Atari.
Atari games.
Okay.
And then blockchain right there. Click
Nice.
that, it'll take you to the
Atari
Atari
blockchain. Got
website.
it. Atari. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely. It sounds like a kind of a metaverse play a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people include this if they're thinking about gaming, they'll include the Atari token, but yeah, I think just because of the name that they have and the experience that they have in the industry, I think this could really take off, given the right conditions. But
Yeah,
definitely one to take more caution on, I think.
yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, metaverse tokens give me anxiety, man, because I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer. I've never been a gamer. I obviously understand the utility of it and like how revolutionary it is in the gaming aspect of NFTs and having like interoperability token to utilize among all these different games, right? But I'm not in tune with that market really. I'm not in tune, and it kind of makes me nervous a little bit getting into
Yeah,
metaverse projects too much, especially as we discussed earlier, saying maybe a lot of these metaverse projects, in my opinion, just personal opinion, will go away. Will go away. They will fail. They're before their time. Even if they're great ideas, they will go away because they're before their time. There, there's just a lot of saturation in metaverse projects right now, and I don't think there's enough people to play them in terms of people that understand crypto as well. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. If you go back to the
Yeah.
CoinGecko real quick,
Yeah.
um, I personally love these graphs, where
Right here.
you can see, yeah, you can see it's starting to pump. It hasn't pumped fully, and there's still a lot of room to the
Right.
all-time high. It
Right.
seems like it's kind of consolidating. Hopefully, it consolidates and moves
Well,
further.
we zoom in a little bit, we'll see. It looks like a pretty good consolidation.
But I like these types
Yeah,
of graphs, and I see it with Kylan and Atari.
I
Um,
noticed that. They look pretty similar in terms of
yeah,
price structure. Yeah, so it does look pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks like it might pop as long as everything stays bullish. For sure, for sure.
but yeah, definitely roadmap is key. Do they have a roadmap that's actionable? Is it things that they can actually implement in the near term, or is it just wild stuff that they would like to do
Right.
but might not
And
actually be able to do?
and Atari seems like a company that has been around for a while. They're not a startup, right? They're not just this maybe this sector of their company is a startup, but their entire company has a lot of foundational pieces that have been around for a while. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Dope, man. So what else do we have today? Let's just review. Let's see what the prices are doing now. After a half hour, oh, we're down a little bit. We took a
Down a little bit.
little dumpster, but market looking good. Everything looking pretty good. Definitely looking bullish throughout the rest of the year. Hopefully into the next. Um,
Uh, Check out what Kadena is doing. A lot of people have been talking about that one.
yo, Kadena. Let's see. Kadena.
69.
Yeah, Kadena's been popping, man. Big
Yeah.
time. But it's going to be strange because a lot of these holy schmoly talk about pop.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, boys. But anyways, yeah, so they still have high inflation too, guys. Make sure inflation is going to kill a lot of these projects. There's not enough buying power to support the amount of inflation of these projects. I don't know what their inflation is. I have to look at their tokenomics. But guys, they have a billion total supply, 156 million in current circulation. They have about 80%, 85% more inflation to go over a timeline of maybe 10 years. I don't know if there's going to be buying demand to support that of a lot of these projects, right? So be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Obviously, you might do well. Maybe they have some mechanisms to limit selling or something to that degree. Maybe a lockup, maybe staking, maybe a lot of different ways to different mechanisms to limit selling and liquidity, right, which pumps the price. So just keep in mind, inflation is huge. I don't think there will be buying this much buying power over the course of the next 5 years consistently. Or maybe, what do you think? What do you think, Ian?
It's hard to say.
It's
It's hard
hard
to
to
say,
say.
but definitely, I just want to underscore that because I think there's so many people that are new to crypto that don't realize that. Not You shouldn't really look at price. You should look at market cap and you should look at inflation, right?
Right.
because your market cap could 2 times, but if you have enough inflation, the price can actually decrease.
Right.
And a lot of people look at SHIB and they say, "Oh, it's so cheap," but the price isn't actually what matters.
Right.
It's more the market cap that'll determine what price appreciation you get. So whenever you're looking at a project, market cap and inflation.
Market cap is literally 156 mil times 18, right? Is market cap.
Yep.
So very simple. Just keep that in mind. That is all for today. I believe we also have the stablecoin pools from last week and the last week's DeFi Degen newsletter. So click that. It will bring you to last week. And I will also link number 2 and number 1 as well. I hope this podcast was significantly better. I think it was better audio, better visual. Extremely excited. We're going to continue with this also getting better with it along the way. So any last words, Ian?
No, I think we're continuing to improve every week. We'd love to hear some feedback from you guys if you guys want to see anything. I'm thinking about dropping in some segments on NFTs. The NFT market is popping right now, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So might start infusing some of that in here. But yeah,
100%. Yeah, for sure. If you don't already have a dingle hat, hit me up. I might give you one. So I've been giving those out like hotcakes. I don't know why, but it is what it is. That is it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You make this all worth it. I mean, each subscriber we get, it makes our day. So we really do appreciate it. We're going to continue to improve this sucker until it's pretty much it's a good newsletter right now, but it can improve a lot better. I mean, it can be a lot better for sure. So just appreciate you guys and have a nice day. We'll see you next week. And
all right.
Peace out.
Peace out.